Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young woman named Alina, just 20 years old. People in the city often called her the girl of the hotels. Alina lived carefree, taking money from men in exchange for their company. She believed life was meant to be enjoyed to the fullest, and nothing could stop her from doing just that. Many men, married or single, wanted to be with her. Her parents, known as the Believers, were very religious. Alina's father was a pastor, and with her mother, they led a big church full of followers. But they had disowned Alina because of how she lived. Alina had been with many men, including those from her father's church, as long as they offered her money or gifts. She had also had several abortions and vowed never to have children. She thought a baby would ruin her body and stop her from living her free-spirited life. One day, Alina started to feel unwell. She went to the hospital to see a doctor. After some tests, she found out she was pregnant. Without a second thought, Alina told the doctor she wanted to get rid of the baby. "Doctor, you know how this goes. Let's do this quickly," she said. But the doctor looked at her seriously. "Alina, do you remember what I told you last time?" "Yes, doctor," she sighed, "but I can't be a mother right now." The doctor reminded her, "Last time, you had complications with your abortion. I told you it should be your last. If you try again, you could lose your life or your uterus. Do you want to die?" Angry and upset, Alina stormed out, calling the doctor incompetent. She went to another clinic, hoping they would help. But after more tests, the doctors there told her the same thing: if she had another abortion, she might not survive. Depressed and furious, Alina finally accepted that she would soon have a baby, even though she didn't even know who the father was. She decided to move to another city, far from where she was living. 9 months later, Alina gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. But instead of being happy, she looked at the baby with disgust. She blamed him for making her last 9 months miserable. Soon after, she came up with a plan to abandon the baby in a poor neighborhood and return to her old life. One night, Alina took the baby to a slum area. Without a second thought or any guilt, she placed the baby on the ground, ignoring his cries, and walked away without looking back. She didn't care if the baby survived the night or not. The next morning, Alina packed her bags and returned to her old city, telling everyone she had traveled abroad and was now back for good. While she was busy telling lies, the baby she had abandoned was crying loudly in the slum. His cries caught the attention of people passing by. They were shocked and scared, unsure of what to do. "Whose baby is this? How could someone leave their child here? What a cruel world," they whispered among themselves. A man named Tony couldn't bear the sound of the baby crying. He rushed over, picked up the baby, and held him gently in his arms. He decided to take the baby home. When Tony got home, his wife, Esha, was stunned. "Where did this baby come from?" she asked in shock. Tony explained, "I found this little boy in the slums. I couldn't just leave him there. I'm sure someone abandoned him." Esha, still surprised, asked, "Are you sure no one is looking for him?" "I don't want any trouble." She bathed the baby and took good care of him. Tony and Esha had been married for 10 years but had no children of their own. They worried about whether keeping this child was the right thing to do. What if people thought they had kidnapped him? After thinking it over, they decided to keep the baby, hoping that caring for him might bring them luck and blessings. Maybe one day they would have their own child. They named the boy Adam. The news of the mysterious baby spread quickly throughout the town. People watched Tony and Esha closely to see how they treated the boy. Over time, Adam grew into a smart and loving child. He was kind, respectful, and grateful for the love Tony and Esha gave him. Even though they didn't have much, they made sure Adam was well cared for, treating him like their own son. However, Adam wasn't completely happy. He often felt sad and alone, struggling with the stigma of being an abandoned child. One evening, while sitting in the living room, Tony noticed a change in Adam's behavior. He asked, "Son, what's wrong? You don't seem as happy and playful as before. You barely smile these days. Did your mom scold you?" Adam sighed and replied, "Dad, I'm sad. Everywhere I go, people call me the slum baby."
They even made a song to mock me, saying I was born from the demon of the slum.
Tony quickly interrupted. Never say that again. You are my son, my only child. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Forget those names people call you. That's not who you are. You are my son, and I love you dearly. Despite Tony's comforting words, Adam still faced bullying at school. His classmates teased him, singing mean songs and calling him names like slum baby and demon child. These cruel words deeply hurt Adam, and he would often run away and hide to cry. While Adam struggled with bullying, Alina, his birth mother, was living her carefree life, not caring about the son she had abandoned. She was busy chasing wealth and pleasure without thinking about the consequences. One day, while going about her usual activities, Alina met a wealthy and influential politician named Senator Raymond. He was highly respected, and many women dreamed of being with him. Though the senator had 5 wives, it didn't stop him from pursuing women who caught his eye. Alina had long wished to meet him, hoping she could get a share of his fortune. Eventually, they started talking, and she became one of his many mistresses. She dreamed of one day becoming his legal wife and bearing his children. Her lifestyle improved, and she became well known in the streets as the senator showered her with money. But after years of their relationship, he refused to marry her. As Alina aged, she became more desperate. She wanted to settle down and saw the senator as her ticket to a secure future. Despite her efforts, she couldn't conceive a child with him. Alina grew miserable, believing that God was punishing her for her past sins. "Oh God, I know I've done many wrong things in the past. Please forgive me and grant me this one prayer. Let me have a child with Senator Raymond so I can become his wife," she prayed, her voice full of hope. While Elena was searching for a solution to her infertility, Adam was thriving, proving his bullies wrong. He excelled in his studies and other areas of his life, making his adoptive parents, Tony and Etcha, very proud. He had just graduated from high school as the top student in his class and won a scholarship to study at a university. Though unsure of his future career, Adam had always wanted to be wealthy enough to help abandoned children and orphans, as he felt lucky to have been saved by Tony and Etcha. After some thought, Adam told his adoptive mother, "Mom, I think I want to become a doctor. I want to save lives. I believe it's something I'll enjoy doing for the rest of my life." Etcha was thrilled and immediately shared the news with Tony. They couldn't be prouder of their son, even though he wasn't their biological child. Adam had brought immense joy into their lives, and they thanked God for him. A few months later, fate took an unexpected turn. Adam chose to attend a prestigious university in the same city where Alina lived. He knew the school was known for training some of the best doctors in the country. Adam quickly adapted to university life and began his journey toward becoming a doctor. 4 years later, Alina's situation worsened. She remained childless and was nearing menopause. Happiness was slipping away from her, and she became increasingly sad about her relationship with Senator Raymond. "I can't stay his mistress forever. He'll find another woman and forget about me. I have to make him marry me. What if he dies today? What will I gain after all these years?" she thought. "No matter what it costs me, I want to become the senator's wife. If he spends this much on me as a mistress, imagine how much I'd have access to as his wife." Desperate, Alina sought advice on how to fix her infertility problem. She learned about a powerful man in a nearby town who helped people who couldn't have children. Determined, she quickly prepared and set off to meet him. But fate struck again. Alina was involved in a serious car accident that killed her driver and left her in a coma. As she lay unconscious in a hospital bed, darkness filled her world. In her coma, she began to see the face of the baby she had abandoned years ago. Flashbacks of the moment she left him in the slum haunted her. She had no friends or family to visit her or pray for her recovery. After several weeks in intensive care, Alina finally woke up, crying out, my boy, help me find my boy. I need to see my boy, please." Terrified and in pain, Alina's cries alarmed the doctors, who rushed to calm her and ensure she was stable. After some time, the doctors decided it was time to talk to her about her condition. "Miss Alina, how are you feeling today? We're glad to have you back with us," the doctor said kindly. Alina replied calmly, "I'm fine, doctor. Thank you for asking, but where is my driver? Is he safe?" The doctor's expression changed, becoming somber. "We're deeply sorry, Miss Alina. Your driver didn't survive the accident. He died on the spot. Tears filled Alina's eyes, and she broke down in sobs, consumed by grief. Please calm down, Miss Alina, the doctor urged gently. We wanted to ask if you have any family members we can talk to. We need to discuss some health matters, and we're afraid you may need support from someone close to you. Alina, curious and worried, asked, I have no family or friends. Am I going to die? I'm strong enough to handle my emotions. Please tell me what's happening to me. I need to know. Alina assured the doctor that she could face whatever news they had to share. The accident affected your spine and knees. We're afraid you won't be able to walk for the rest of your life, the doctor said gently. Upon hearing this, Alina lost control, sweating and crying uncontrollably. I'm ruined. How will I survive without my legs? She sobbed. While she was receiving care, her so-called lover, Senator Raymond, never visited her in the hospital. He completely ignored her because she was no longer of any use to him. He had already moved on to the next beautiful woman. After 3 months in the hospital, Alina was finally discharged and allowed to return home. She hired a housekeeper to help her with her daily needs. Years earlier, Alina had been too busy enjoying life and spending money, never thinking about her future. She had been sure that she would marry a rich man and secure her future. But now, her situation had left her in a very uncomfortable position. Please donate me to continue these videos in the form of subscribers.